All right. Another episode of the Fuel or Crutch podcast, season 4. This season is all about community. So, again, I do have a special guest who is a community member of many communities that I've been a part of. I'm going to give people a chance to log on before we jump into it. But, as always, I drop the intro and we dive into it from there. Yo, what it do, y'all? I'm back, season 4, last podcast of the year. I've got my friend, my special guest, BigMike Bell. How you doing, Mike?
Man, I'm good, bro. I'm
Man,
a little sick, but I'm okay.
Hey, man, I definitely appreciate you taking time to jump on and do this with me. Man, so tell everybody where you're from.
Man, I'm in the Carolinas now, but I hail from the Midwest. And it's kind of funny because when I say I'm sick or I got a cold, they be like, "Oh, well, you used to the cold." No, my body can't take it. My body can't take it. I ain't got no blood, so it's like it's different when you going through all these health issues and your body just ain't the same. So it's like it could be the summertime and I'm out here with a hoodie on. It's like takes some getting used to.
Oh, and we
Takes some
definitely
getting used to.
we gonna definitely tap into all of that. So yeah, I just wanted to let people know where our journey started together at.
Our journey actually started on the south side of Madison, the South Side Raiders. I met you on the field, Penn Park.
Penn Park, South Side. Listen, for those that don't understand that is the South Side of Madison is the hub of Madison. Yes, there's people that have been on north, east, west, all over, but when it comes down to the black folks congregating, the hub of Madison is the South Side.
It's definitely the heart of the city.
So, with that being said, talk about the upbringing. How was that for you? Siblings and all that. Get into it.
I'm from the real South Side. I'm gonna say the real South Side is Simpson Street. Yeah, now, I know that's a touchy subject for folks. They want to say Graham and Park and Somerset and all that. Simpson is up there. So I saw the little thumbs down. We gonna move past that. But upbringing was good. Single parent household. My mom. Uh, had four of us, me and my younger brother and two sisters. My dad had seven, including me. So it's a big family, but it was a close family, both sides, my mom's side and my dad's side. Um, yeah, it was a good upbringing. Simpson was a family in itself. It's like I remember this group, the Mothers of Simpson Street, and it was like all of them was your mama.
Mm,
So it's like
mm-hmm.
50 of them, but they all was your mama. So like, no matter what you was doing, who you was doing it with, somebody was gonna see it
Facts.
and discipline you. So yeah,
Discipline you and tell your mama, and you got disciplined again when you got to the crib.
and then here come your uncles and your aunties and everybody else. So it's like you gonna get whoop 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 on down the line. But it was some good times back in the day.
It was,
Definitely
and
not like today.
no, and then just thinking about just Simpson. Just talk about how close knit that community was.
Super close. There was, I like to say, the low end, and then there was also the whole. So it was like we was all on the low end on this side of the street, and then on that side of the street was a lot more trouble down towards the hole. But we was all a family, like a community for real. Like I remember a bunch of different, community leaders at the time. Like Not only the Nip stuff with Stephen and Doc and James and all of them people, but there was also the Gabes and the Michael Johnsons. I mean the Michael Jones, and the Big Kev, and it was just a bunch of male role models at the time that looked out for all the other kids that was mainly single family households. Um, I just remember real community. It was always something for the kids to do. It was always, in the middle of all the negativity and all the hustling and the drug use and all of that, it was always still community. So I appreciate it upbringing.
Man, I think that is something that gets overshadowed, like all the negative stuff that comes out from those times and
Yeah.
those upbringings, which was there and which was prevalent, and we saw it, we knew where it was, what it was, but it was the pieces of the community that kept a lot of us away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Um,
then, like even when I say like the hustling and the drug use and the drug selling and all of that kind of stuff, it was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, but you ain't gonna do this.
the
You gonna live
the
you gonna
OGs
live
looked out for us.
a better life. You know what I mean? I want something better for you. So yeah, you may see me do this, but this ain't what you gonna do. You know what I mean? So it was still community, and I
Well,
appreciated that.
yeah, and growing up on the South Side, and that literally went to Simpson, went to Somerset, like that those areas were pretty transient too, where you would see
Yeah.
families in Somerset and then end up in Simpson and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like
Mm-hmm.
that family dynamic stayed and spread throughout the entire city. At some point, when they started dispersing and displacing people from Simpson and displacing from Somerset.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then it was like, your cousin may be in Somerset, so you on the weekend you over there, or whatever. After school you over there. So it's like the whole city really was one, if you ask me. Like you
And,
may
and
live on Simpson, or you may live in Somerset, or you may live on Bram, or you may live in Allied or whatever, but we was all one.
facts. And based on those experiences, didn't it feel like there was more black folks in Madison than what it really was?
Yeah, because oftentimes you didn't leave from your little radius. So
Yep.
it's like this is what you saw. These are the people that you see, and this is what you do. And it just seemed like we were the city, but
I,
outside of that,
yeah. And I'll share this. When I was in college, there's a lot of stuff that my friends would ask me about, being in Wisconsin. They're like, man, it's super white there. And then they'll ask me a question like, how did you avoid X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, to be honest, growing up, the only white people that I saw were when I was at school.
that's it. That's
Because when
it.
you came back home to the South Side, there wasn't any there.
Hmm. I remember we had two. It was Nancy Taylor and Nancy Odell. They were the social worker and the community nurse at the neighborhood center. But if you close your eyes, you wouldn't know they was white, but they
And
were.
then,
You know.
and
So,
I remember there was one that was in the hole, and then Mike the mailman on the right on Bear Street. Like that was all that I remember. And then on the other
mm,
side of Park Street, there was the Raymonds, Travis Raymond that played. But like you said, if you close your eyes, you wouldn't have known Travis was white.
hmm Yeah, it's like you didn't see outside of the few hours you was at school. You didn't see too many. You didn't see too many. I know we had Officer Joe. He was the neighborhood police officer, but he was so cool and so like one of us. You didn't even look at him like he was white. But I don't
And
know.
even back then with the community, when you even think about the police, like the police used to come through the neighborhood and was cool. They would have the baseball cards to
The
give out.
baseball cards. The baseball cards.
It
Yeah,
was
they
just a
weren't
different.
tripping.
It was a different time, a different community. I think a lot of things have changed, but our goal is to try and bring it back to where what we experienced and what we had
Yeah.
for those young guys. So,
Yeah.
thinking about time when you was young, like what was your dream job? What was your dream career as a kid?
I'm living it.
Okay.
My dream job was entertainment. From the time I was old enough to talk, I'm going to Hollywood. um, that's what I'm gonna do. I was always fascinated with the lights and the limos and the just the life and wanting to see my name in lights, you know. So it was like, this is what I'm gonna do, and I ain't gonna stop until I do it. And thanks to God, I'm able to live that, you know. So yeah, I'm living it. I'm
So
living
for
my
those,
dream.
for those that don't know, share exactly what it is that you do in the entertainment world.
I am a radio professional. Most recently, I was the regional program director for Cumulus Media. Cumulus is the second largest broadcast company in the country, next to iHeart. I was responsible for radio stations in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Responsible meaning I programmed them and I'm on the air. So
And,
that's what I do.
and Mike has always had this personality. So like when like we say Big Mike, and most people talk about somebody being big, and it's because they small, because they had a big personality. Big Mike is not little, and Big Mike also has a big personality. So just don't want to get that twisted. So hey, shout out to Jerome or BG. Shout out to Keon tapping in with us. We appreciate it.
What's happening? I can't see none of that, so I don't know if my glasses
No man,
ain't working or what. But I don't see
they might
nobody.
they might not be working, but I'm definitely putting their stuff up there. Jerome said, BG
Okay,
said, firefighter, then grew up to be an at-risk youth counselor. Once I recognized my gift in being able to reach and touch people. Shout out to BG.
that's what's up. I ain't mad at that at all.
Mr. Hello World himself, Antoine Patrick Jackson. What's cracking?
Hello, world.
Rainy Briggs. Yes, sir. Appreciate you tapping in.
Rainy.
So yeah,
Man,
and
look at
you
all
think
this
about it,
fam. Look at all this family on this thing. I can't see
all
none of
this
them. I'm
love
telling you.
just popping up. So we knew you were gonna get into entertainment. So you
Uh,
said since you could talk, uh,
yeah.
were there any influential people that kind of maybe guided you that way, or people that you kind of saw doing it and looked up to?
Latone for one.
Tone Hart. Rest in
Latone for
peace,
one.
Tone Hart.
Rest in peace, Latone. Um, DJ Triple X, aka Jay Thomas. ST. Um, yeah, those was pretty much in the beginning. And then Crazy Howard McGee from GCI. Um, it was a bunch of influential people. Just listening to the radio. Like I would listen and envision myself doing what they were doing. So yeah, I remember a bunch of people from radio growing up. Even like shout out to the people that used to be on
Ward.
Wart 89.9. Um, I can't remember any of the names, but
DJ
um,
Joe Jam.
I don't remember that.
Damn, that sucks. That was my uncle, but he was on there.
Oh, well, shout out to Joe Jam. Give me some more names.
Uh, uh Terrible T. That's all I got.
Oh well, shit. Yeah, shout out to whoever used to do the Wart thing. I know it was only that one day a week, but
That
they were
Saturday morning
influential.
and that Saturday night
That's it. That's
with
it.
the jail shout outs.
The infamous jail shout outs. Yeah, they played it. They played a part. Um, Let me see. Herb Kent, from V103 in Chicago. Um, there was a bunch of people. Bunch of people. Big Ant, Minneapolis, spent some time up there too. So shout out to him on KMOJ. It was just a bunch of people just listening to the radio and listening to all these different personalities. They all played a part in me wanting to do what I'm doing
So
back then.
question question for you. I don't know what your experience was before or after, but what was your experience like with education? Like what was your thoughts on it before you graduated high school, and what are your thoughts about it now?
I graduated from La Follette, and I wish like hell I would have went to West. I believe that y'all had a way better black experience than we did.
Okay.
We didn't get the college trips. We didn't get the like we didn't even get the knowledge of HBCUs. We didn't get the knowledge of life beyond high school. It was just like, okay, so you here, we gonna get you through, and that's it. I remember my high school guidance counselor. Her name was Miss O'Hearn. She told me I wasn't gonna be shit. Those were her exact words. Now, mind you, I was a little, little pistol starter, but I still deserved to have an opportunity to change that. And I remember actually getting kicked out of La Follette my sophomore year. Um, and I was put in a foster home. Shout out to Billy Hayes. He took me in and reshaped my whole understanding of what life was supposed to be.
Okay.
So he taught me the importance of education, and me living with him those few years, um, like I say, reshaped my whole understanding of what life was supposed to be. So I knew, how important education was, and I got on the right track. I started working and learning how to budget and all these different things. Because before that, I was just like, look, I'm gonna get this little diploma, and that's it. However I get it, I'm gonna get it, and that's it. But that wasn't it. So yeah, he taught me a lot. Dr. Bruce Diamond at Memorial, because I kicked out of the file, they put me at Memorial when I moved with Billy. The principal, Bruce Diamond, rest in peace. He
Rest in peace,
passed. Rest in
Bruce.
peace, Billy. Them together, they taught me so much. And they were the real reasons why I was able to graduate, while I was able to get that diploma and keep it moving. But like I say, I wish that I would have went to West so that I could have, Ed and all those different people be a part of my story like it was y'all's, because I was really envious of you and Ashley and all that y'all, all that, was that West House.
And that's crazy because West ain't the same West no more. But what, like, kids don't understand that West was the high school everybody wanted to be at. It's not that case anymore.
Mm,
Unfortunately, but just like you said, there was so many different opportunities that we got to take advantage of, going on the
yes.
HBCU tours, having
Yeah.
certain conversations, being able to see Black men and women in our building as teachers, administrators, coaches, the whole nine. So shout
Mhm.
out to the West experience.
Yeah, we didn't get that. The father, I mean, the best thing about us was the 4 block. We had the 4 classes. Now it was an hour and a half apiece, but we had the 4 classes, and that was it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So yeah, we didn't get half of what y'all got at West. Even when I went to Memorial, it was more Black people. It was more Black administrators and more Black faculty and stuff like that. But it still wasn't the experience that I saw when we would, link up with people that went to West after school or at Bootstrap or wherever else. So yeah, I
Man,
wish we would have had
listen,
that.
because this is about community, speak to that, because Bootstrap was a community all on its own, and it in its own
Listen,
separate space. My mama wouldn't let me participate in it, but to each his
listen,
own. That's all I'm gonna do.
Bootstrap was definitely a community all its own, like you said. But it taught us more. The fact that your mom wouldn't let you participate was like a disadvantage to you, because it taught you about life. Like, not only, people say, well, you get paid to do your homework. No, you get paid because this is work. So you getting a check, but you have to fulfill your obligations in order to get that check. So it's like, if you didn't do this and you didn't perform in school, it wasn't no check. You know what I mean? So it taught you how to work for what you get, one, and then two, it taught you how to budget, it taught you how to save, it taught you how to, see the bigger picture. So I appreciated Joanne and what was the lady name? Um I know Joanne was the
Hey,
no, Linda was huh?
my mama tapped in. She said, "Tell them why." So
Oh,
my mom
yeah,
looked
tell
at
us
it from
why.
the lens of, you're not going to get paid to do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do
Mm,
your schoolwork. You're supposed to go and do what you're supposed to so you can graduate. So I understood it, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I want to go get paid. I want to go where my friends is at too. Like you said, it was a whole different community, but
Yeah,
also the way you just spun it to make sure that we understood, like, yo, if you want to get paid, you got to hold up your end of the bargain, just like in
yeah,
life.
yeah. I mean, why shouldn't you get a reward for doing something that you're supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
because
why
just like
not?
you're supposed to do, you're gonna get a diploma.
Exactly. A
So
reward.
and you know that financial compensation from
Hmm.
doing what you were supposed to while you was there was just a shorter term goal that you was gonna use to get the larger term goal, which was
Yeah.
that high school diploma. So yeah, I get
And
I
not
get
only
it. I
that,
totally understand it.
and not only was it the money aspect, but it was also food. You know, back then, well, even still to this day, like people depend on food, whether that be food at the school or whatever. But people, even now, like me doing work in the schools, like some of those kids don't eat at home.
Facts.
Some of those kids only eat at school. That's why it's important. Like, I recently did a big thing last summer because in South Carolina they ended the summer food stamps. So it was like the kids that depend on this food at school in the summertime, what they supposed to eat? You know what I mean? So like we did a whole big fundraiser type thing for them. But back then, growing the bootstrap, it was like, yeah, you gonna get a hot meal after school because some of them needed it. Granted, I didn't. You know, my mom was a mother, but not everybody had, what I had. So yeah, I
Man,
appreciated that part of it too. You
and that
know?
that's the other thing. Like I've been trying to get kids to understand. Like when I talk to them and they've been at wilding out in school or whatever the case is, I'm like, yo, given your current situation, depending on who it is, like,
Yeah.
yo, I know your situation at the crib. So like coming to school acting a fool, like, hey, that ain't help. If you come to school and
No.
just do what you're supposed to, you're gonna get fed 2 to 3 times a day. You're gonna get breakfast, lunch, and if you stay after, you typically get a snack.
Yeah.
That's 3 times, you know what I'm saying? But if you go to school, act a plum fool, and get suspended, now what? For the next 2, 3 days,
Right.
what you gonna do?
Air sandwiches.
Wish sandwich. Wish you had something to eat.
In real life.
So yeah,
So
man.
yeah, like I appreciated that part of it too. So shout out to
So
Joanne and Linda at Bootstrap and Doctor what was it? Mr. Norman.
do me a favor because you've already touched on it. Talk to me about giving back, like just the importance of it for you and what it means to you and in the different ways you've done that.
It's super important for me to give back because somebody gave to me. So I feel like I pay homage to um everybody who poured into me. That would be the entire NIP staff. That'll be the Billy Hayes. That'll be the, like I just said, the Joanne Lennon and Norman at Bootstrap. That would be Bruce Diamond at Memorial. All these different people that paid it, that poured into me. It's my responsibility to pour into the next. So that's why it's so important for me to give back because this thing is 360. Like just like somebody did for me, I'm responsible for the next. So I spend my life giving back to the community for all of those reasons because somebody gave back to me. I remember making a promise to God, like back when I was in Columbus, Georgia, when I first started getting sick. I was just like, God, if you show up for me, I'm gonna show up for you. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that was a big part of that is a big part of why I do what I do. You know,
No,
and with this microphone comes a whole lot of responsibility, and you have to you have to um you have to treat basically you got to treat people like you want them to treat you at the end
even
of
if
the
they
day.
even if they won't or can't, but you still got to put out your end of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
and not
speak
for anything to come back, but just because it's the right thing to do. You know.
so speak about the responsibility of the mic because I know you've touched pause. You reached people in all walks of life and from East Coast, West Coast, and everywhere in between.
Hmm.
So just
Um,
speak to that responsibility and where it shines lights on for you.
Um, I mean, for all the reasons that I just said, like a bunch of people poured into me growing up. So I pay homage to them and thank them for what they did, whether they're here or not, for what they did for me by doing for others. I believe that you should. um, you should always look out for the next man or woman or child because you could easily be in those shoes. And I see a bunch of different things online, um, specifically around recent events in Madison, and it's just like do the right thing. Do the right thing, and not for any shine or publicity or money or fame or whatever, but just
Mm,
do the right thing. Do the
mm.
right thing.
So yeah, let's take a minute just to just to send prayers and thoughts to those that have been affected by the shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. For me, it was extra a little bit because I used to coach at Abundant Life for 2 years, and I
Mm,
know some of the players that I coach still have siblings there. They
mm,
weren't, thank God, a part of some of the unfortunate incidents or people that were
mhm.
taken from us, but at the same time that's extremely close to home. So
Yeah.
again, thoughts and prayers to those that were lost, and shout out to that teacher that definitely took care of students and put I guess lessened the blow of what it could have been.
Hmm. Yeah. And um, is it? I don't know if I don't know if I got the right information, but is did the teacher die?
Yes,
Wow. Wow.
and
So
again,
you
our
gave your
teacher.
life.
She gave her life, and I want to say, I don't want to be misquoted or say it wrong, but I believe she left 3 kids behind.
Mm, God bless them.
So yeah, so again, prayers and thoughts to that family and community,
Yeah.
and we hope that they can get through this holiday season and sharing time with their loved ones.
Yeah. Wow. Right here at Christmas.
Yes. At home, and we always say it won't happen to us. It won't happen here. It did.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing. It's like you could spend your whole life saying what won't, but it will. You know what I mean? It will.
It will, and it can.
Sad, sad. Yeah, God bless those those that were involved, the families of those that were lost. Like it's just a sad situation. So yeah, wow.
Trying to, change the subject a little bit. Talk to me just about some of the struggles that you've had to overcome in order to get to where you at. And even before we talk to some of your current struggles.
Um, I had to get out of my own way. You know what I mean? Like I had to get out of my own way. That was the biggest struggle for me. It was like you're not entitled, you're not promised anything. You have to, work for whatever you get. Um, when I first started getting a little notoriety at one point, the head got big and the ego was out of control and it was just like, dude. So I had to check myself
Mm,
in the beginning, and I had to go back to some conversations that I had as coming up with some of the same people that I just mentioned, and it was just like you have to remember where you came from and what you started with. Um, so yeah, I had to get out of my own way. That was my biggest struggle. Um, I mean, aside from that, it was like a lot of people don't know. They said they see the glitz and the glam, but they don't see the behind the scenes.
mm,
So it was a lot of times where I struggled in the beginning. Like I'm running around this country doing what I love to do, but I wasn't always full time. I wasn't always making the money that I needed to make. I wasn't always making the money that I should have. It was a bunch of part time work, a bunch of free work, a bunch of paying your dues. Homeless at one point. Um, I remember when I was in Shreveport, literally sleeping in my car. So yeah, it was a bunch of different struggles before I got to where I'm at now. But you have to. That's another reason why I give back because I remember being in some of the same situations that some of the listeners are, or that some of my peers are. So yeah, it's a bunch of different recipes to this gumbo.
Man, and shout out to Clyde Brian Mayberry, who is another voice and personality all on his own. We
Oh
love you,
Lord.
Mr. Mayberry, and always gonna speak his truth and tell it like it is.
Let me
Um,
just say this: I appreciate Brian for for who Brian is, and for who and for what he represents, the village that he speaks of. I appreciate you for always keeping it a buck with with your village. I appreciate you for always speaking up and standing up. It took you a
hold
minute
on,
to get
pause, pause,
there.
pause. It went out on you. I don't want to miss that part because you
Oh,
giving the flowers. Go ahead and do that again.
I said I appreciate you for keeping the buck with your village and standing up and speaking out for what's right. It took you a minute to get there, but I think you there. But like I told you personally, it's not always about what you're saying; it's how you're saying it. And it took me a long time to get to that point too. So yeah, but I definitely wanted to give you your flowers. I appreciate you for what you're doing for the city of Madison and the surrounding areas.
He said, "Thank you, mentor."
I'm just out here doing what somebody did for me. That's all.
Giving game, giving back. Iron sharpens iron.
That's
Um,
it. That's it.
So do me a favor. I know you just was talking about the life you were living, and
Hmm.
it sometimes it seemed more than what it might have actually been. But just speak about the
Hmm.
importance of networking and branding, because I know you met and connected
Oh
with a
man.
lot of celebrities and a lot of big wigs and names.
Your network is your net worth. And I know people say that all the time, but that's true. That's so true. And another thing that I want to say before I even get into the importance of network and branding, like you asked, it's your reputation. Your reputation precedes you. Like how you carry yourself goes a long way. Um, and a lot of people don't understand that. Um, a lot of people don't understand the importance of networking. Like when you walk into a room, you should never leave that room without knowing everybody that you could possibly know in that room. Everybody in that room that you could possibly know should know you before you leave that room. You never know. Like for instance, I'm cool with a vice president. A vice president at Atlantic Records right now, and we started together. Like my job at 93.1 Jams in Madison, I was the music director. That was my first job in management. Um, so I'm starting out in Madison as a music director. He's starting out as a regional promotions director or whatever it was. But we're starting off at the same time at the same entry level. Now I'm here, he's there, but it's just like had I have been, and let me give you the ins and outs of that. It's like a regional promotions director will call you to say, "Hey, Big Mike, we're impacting this new Cardi B. We want to know if Jams could show us a little love, or if Jams could play it, or whatever the case may be." That's what their job is, to get the records played. So they're
Hmm.
calling me to say, "Well, hey, this is what we got. Offset's getting ready to drop this new album. This is the single we're pushing. You think y'all gonna be able to play it?" That type of stuff. So I would say, "Well, no, it's not right for us," or "No, no, not just yet," or whatever the case may be. But had I been rude to him, or had I been mean to him, or had I showed my ass to him, we wouldn't have the relationship that we have now. And that goes for not just that relationship, but I got a lot of different people that I can call on my phone because of your network being your net worth. I understood that a long time ago. So it's like from the janitor to the CEO, you treat everybody the same.
Facts.
You don't shit on a person that's just the environmental specialist, because that's the proper term for janitor. You know, you treat everybody with respect, and you'll go far in this business or in any other business or just in life. So the importance of networking is super important. Branding, that goes to your what I said, like your reputation. It goes before you. Like your name could be mentioned in rooms that you never were in because of your reputation.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So all of that, it go hand in hand. And without one, you will never have the other.
So, I've known you for a long time, and I've always felt that you've been a pretty confident person. Is that true, or is that something that you may have masked?
In the beginning, I wasn't. In the beginning, I masked. I wasn't even comfortable with my voice in the beginning. Like when I was on KPO Hot 105.9 in Madison, I
Hmm.
wasn't comfortable. I wasn't comfortable with my voice. Like I hated listening to myself, or I hated hearing myself, or I just wasn't comfortable. So I masked the hell out of it. Even hosting parties, I would, I would, um, I would run out into the crowd because I wasn't comfortable being on stage. Um, I would, crack jokes from the crowd because I wasn't comfortable being on stage because it's like the lights on you, everybody's looking at you, and it's time to perform. So yeah, I would say in the beginning I masked the hell out of it. Like you wouldn't know that I wasn't confident, but I made you feel like I was confident.
And that's a skill on it in its own.
Yeah, yeah. It's something that you develop along the way. So yeah.
So,
Now go
so
ahead.
speak to that the level of the confidence that's needed to be as successful as you've been to meet the people you've met.
Um, I had to realize that we're all human. We all eat, sleep, and shit the same. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. And I took that with me. And from that, I realized that just because I'm sitting next to a Cardi at an award show or something, or whoever else, we're all human. Um, so that helped me get along the way. It's like, man, they just may have a couple more zeros in their bank account than you, but we, we all human. We all go through stuff. We all trying to figure out this thing called life, and we only get one shot at it. So, yeah, it took a lot to get to this level, but I'm appreciative for the whole journey.
So, one question before we transition into speaking more to how we can, as a community, support you. I just wanted to
Mhm.
know what are your thoughts, or what do you feel the meaning of community is to you?
Um, Community for me is showing up for your fellow man. Um, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what community means to me. Community is when there's no lights on, you still are there. Community means um, just being there for, like I said, for your fellow man. It could be support, it could be prayer, it could be monetary, it could be whatever, but just being there and really meaning everything that you say and do when you're there. Um, to sum it up, there's a lot of things that I want to say, but I'm in a position right now where I shouldn't.
Okay. So, with that being said, I know, and you shared with a lot of your community as well. You have been battling some health issues and some health scares, some health concerns. I think I did overhear a conversation. I think you was on another podcast where you talked about it and where it started from, or how long it's been lingering before it really took effect. So can you speak to that and just kind of share with us that journey and that process?
Yep. I'm currently battling um, end stage renal failure. That is permanent kidney disease. I'm on dialysis. I have been for the last 4 years. Uh, Not only do I have end stage renal failure, I also have high blood pressure and diabetes. So it's all those things are, or the end stage renal failure is a result of the high blood pressure and diabetes. And basically, the start was high school. I was, diagnosed with hypertension and diabetes, but I was hard head and in denial for a long time, and I just didn't agree with. the diagnosis, and I didn't even really understand it, but I didn't even want to own up to it and claim either disease. So a lot of um, a lot of years after that, I experienced different things that I probably wouldn't have had I'd have been, mindful of when they told me I had it and did the right thing then. But that's neither here nor there. But now, my kidneys are no more. I have zero function in my kidneys. Um, Without the dialysis, I'd be dead. Tell you the
Mm,
truth. I go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Um, when I say I have zero function, that means that I no longer urinate. So I retain all fluids. Um, that's why it didn't took me all day to drink this bottle of water. Because if I drunk it all, I'd probably be swole up.
right.
Um, because it doesn't release. It stays. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Um, Kidney disease is something that we don't talk about as a community. It's something that we don't understand, something that we don't know, and something that we're not taught. But it all, to me, in my opinion, it all starts with what you eat. Um, we as Black people, we eat all the wrong things. From coming up, you eat the pork and the sugar and the starches, the rice, the bread, the grits, all those different things break down to sugar in your body. So that's why Black people are more likely to experience everything that I just said. Like one in four African Americans will experience kidney disease in their lifetime. Why? Because we eat all the wrong things and we do all the wrong things. We eat, we lay down. It's just like things that you conditioned to do. Um, so my journey now, or part of my story now, is just to spread this awareness and try to save somebody else from going through what I'm going through. You know.
Yeah, no, I know I appreciate you sharing and hopefully giving information and game to others that are listening. And how does that kind of like manifest as it's compounded with more than one ailment that you have?
Um, Everything is intertwined. But luckily for me, in the last couple of years, I've been taking my health more serious. Well, not last couple of years, but like the last 10 years, I've been taking my health more serious, and I've got my diabetes under control. Recently, I was my A1C, which is like a cumulative average over the last 3 months. My A1C is actually perfect. It's a 5. So I'm technically pre-diabetic, so I no longer have to take the insulin and stuff like that. My high blood pressure is under control. I no longer have to take the high blood pressure medicines, which is great. But my kidneys are where they are. I still have end stage renal failure, and end stage is the last stop. Like you could have stage one, two, three, four, five. Okay. But end is like there's no going back. There's no way to change anything. It's just like the diabetes or the dialysis or transplant. One of the two. If you don't have the dialysis, you better have a transplant on the way. If you don't have the transplant, you better be your ass on dialysis or it's over. Um, so yeah, all of those different diseases play a part in where I'm at. And a lot of us may have the high blood pressure. A lot of us may have the diabetes, and it's time to take all of those things serious. It's time to do exactly what they say to do. Now that they could be the doctors, or they could be a holistic doctor, or they could be well whoever, but just do something. Whether that be exercise or just eat right or something. Just do something.
And so, as you're speaking to that, like, what are some of the things that you have done, whether it be eating, exercise, or a combination? Like, what have you done to kind of get yourself into a better situation? Although the kidney aspect is what it is at this point.
Well, a few years ago, I went vegan. I gave up all animal products and I did that for a few years. And then, I slowly but surely went from vegan to vegetarian, from vegetarian to pescatarian, from pescatarian to I done went out and got a little intoxicated, and I had me a wing, and that one wing turned into a 6 piece, and that 6 piece turned into a 10 piece, and I went on from there. And next thing you know, I'm getting a burger, and all these different things. So I've done all these different things, and um, I really wish I would have stayed vegan. I really wish I would have just gave up all the animal products and just went raw vegan. Because at the time, there's this one picture that I took. I did the St. Jude benefit in Memphis one year, and I look at that picture and I'm just like, damn, that's me. I was super healthy, and you can see it all in my face and in my body and all. And there was no meat in my body at the time. I mean, animal products, period, at the time. And had I probably would have stayed with that, I don't think I'd be where I'm at right now.
Mm,
Not to say that you have to go vegan, but
that's what
listen,
worked for you.
that's what's working for a lot of people. But you got to do what works for you, because a lot of people will say that, oh, you go vegan. That's not the answer or the cue for everybody. You know what I mean? So you do what works for you, but at least try to do something. But I will say that a lot of that meat is what's hurting us, because the cow that you ate, that cow may have high blood pressure, or that cow may have diabetes. You ate that, so now you are that. You know what I mean? So you just got to be careful and mindful of what you put in your body. End of the day.
No, man, we definitely appreciate you putting us on game and letting us in on your struggles, your life, your hopes and dreams. So, what as a community can we do to help you, to support you? Like how how can we go about doing that?
Well, there is a link tree that I have set up. Excuse me. On the link tree, there is a link to a bunch of different press articles and interviews and things that I've done recently. There's also the GoFundMe there. Um, but I would prefer, if you found it in your heart to want to donate to everything that I have going on, to not use the GoFundMe. And I say that because I did not know that GoFundMe took such a big portion of the proceeds. Um, if I would have known that in the beginning, I never would have used GoFundMe. So there is, the Venmo and the Cash App and the Zelle and all these other different, ways that you could donate on the link tree. But if you just want to do the GoFundMe, that's fine. I ain't gonna turn down nothing. Um, because at the end of the day, I need this transplant. There's also a link on the link tree to Emory Hospital in Atlanta, where I'm currently evaluating. That if you want to be a donor, um, if you want to, donate the kidney, you can log on and you can follow the questionnaire. It's going to ask you a couple different health questions. But if you pass the first step, then that will trigger a transplant specialist to call you, and then and they'll set up the next step, and that'll be the blood work and things like that. But you can help me by A, donating the kidney, B, donating monetarily to help me with costs of the transplant and things like that. But basically, however you can help, just help, even if it's a prayer, because prayer changes things. So I appreciate even prayer.
And so in that link tree, it's also the Cash App, Venmo, and all that as well. So
Yep, everything's
I have
on there.
I have pasted the link tree inside of this chat. I will do a separate post so everybody can see that doesn't tap in or tune in, so that way we can
Mhm.
try and form a community around Mike. Mike is always giving back. He's from here. He's from the community. He's actively giving back. I mean, think about all the stuff he just already shared about giving back. Mind you, he's essentially fighting for his life. So if we can find it in our heart to just pull together as a community and support him, whether it be prayers, reading up on what he has in the link tree, or donate monetarily, let's do that. Let's pull together.
I'm also wanting to come back and do a fundraiser soon. I'm working with a few people in Madison to pull it off. So we're just trying to secure the location and we're gonna do a dinner. Uh, so that information will be out real soon. Um, yeah, I think it's important to. I think it's important for me to come back to where it started and allow people to just to feed off of their energy to bring me up. You know, like mentally, this is a lot. Every day is different. Some days are up, some days are down. Um, but I feel like the community will give me the strength I need um, to not to finish, but to get through.
Man, and if anybody can, state if you on this feed, state what you can donate. Put it on here. Put it in the chat. I'm going to pledge and make a donation tonight. I got at least $100 coming to you, Mike. Just I want to help
Thank
and
you.
support you in any way that I can because you've been somebody that I've leaned on. I've called. We've had some conversations. We've been a part of some conversations that haven't always even been pleasant that were about us. Being accused of stuff, but we we go back and we've had some conversations. So I like I said,
Yeah,
I got you, and I'm gonna support you, and that's why I wanted to bring you on to be able to talk about it, share your journey, document it, and hopefully as a family and a community, Madison, we can come together and help Mike and see what we can do to support him and whether it be a donor or something monetarily that can help when we get that donor. So
yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Um,
also in the process of so right now you can do up to three hospitals. So currently I'm doing the transplant process at Atrium in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm doing Atlanta at Emory, and then I'm also in the beginning stages at the UW in Madison. So I'll be back and forth in the city soon, as soon as all the paperwork and stuff goes through. Um, so yeah, you'll be seeing me bopping around the town in a minute. Did it cut out? I wish I could see the comments or the people.
man,
Maybe I
the,
should.
the,
I
the
should have
latest
been on. Huh?
the latest comment, Brianna Zen says, "This is so important. It may not be a factor now, but it's building, and it's easier to prevent than it is to fix."
Mm, hello. Let me see if I can log on the computer so that way I can see because I
And
want to
one
see the
other
people.
thing I wanted to say is like, hey, for listeners or people that are going to share this post or podcast, whatever it is, share it with other people so they can hear the story. But also, let's start thinking about as 2025 is approaching, what are we going to do to be proactive? For ourselves, for our loved ones, for our children, for our business, for our people, versus reactive. What are we
Go
going to
to the
invest in?
doctor. Go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Ask questions when you get to the doctor. Don't just go to the doctor. But when you get there, ask questions. Ask, be your own advocate. A lot of us don't even go to the doctor. And then when we get there, we don't ask questions when we're there. We just, go along. Oh, they said I gotta take this, so I'm gonna take this. No, 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 no. Ask questions and show up for yourself because ain't nobody gonna care for you like you gonna care for you.
And
You
you
know
the
what I
only
mean?
one that's
So
got to live with you permanently.
that's it. That's it. So yeah, go start by going to the doctor, get checkups. And as far as your kidneys are concerned, ask questions when you get there and ask them. There's two things that you should be asking your doctor. And I ask you right now, Jamal, you probably won't even know. But what's your creatinine level?
I don't even know what that is.
What's your BUN?
Couldn't tell you.
See? When the last time you been to the doctor?
Oh man, I went earlier this year.
You went early this year for what?
Just
A
routine checkup,
checkup?
being turning 40.
Okay, so we both turned 40. So you went to the doctor, you had a checkup, but they didn't tell you those two things and you didn't ask what those two things were,
I
huh?
didn't ask. Even if they told me, I probably didn't even bear to ask to see what that meant or what it was.
See? I want you to go to the doctor the next time. I want you to make an appointment with your doctor. I want you to ask your doctor those two different things, and then let me know what they say.
Text that to me so I know to ask those specific ones because I they may say it and I won't have no clue what they talking about.
I got you. I'm gonna text you those two things because I want to know what they say when you get there. But again, like I was saying, 1 in 4 people. So like, if you were to line up four black people, one of those would have kidney disease in their lifetime. Ain't that something?
Yes, it is.
But we're not taught that.
Not at all. Those are things that we, I mean, and especially when we're younger, we think we invincible. Ain't nothing gonna get to us. Nothing gonna stop us. We take risks that we shouldn't be taking.
Yeah.
And then you get older and you start living in the era of reflection and you start seeing things in a total different light. And this is not
Also,
to
yeah.
scare you. This is not to
Uh huh.
scare anybody listening. This is to put awareness and try to be preventative.
Yep. Oh, look. So she said a lot of blood pressure medicines that are not that are not for African Americans that will quite make kidney disease worse. You absolutely right. You got to be your own advocate because what I do, like if I'm prescribed something, I'm googling it, I'm looking it up. I've been two different kidney support groups on Facebook, and I'll ask questions. Like I ask a lot of questions when I get to the doctor because I want to know if this is like even down to like right now I got a cold, but there's no real medicine for me to take because I can't take the NyQuil, I can't take the Dayquil, I can't take like there's a bunch of different things that I can't take because of my kidneys. But you wouldn't know that just by showing up. You got to ask these questions, you know. So yeah, Brina, you're absolutely right. It's
Yep,
a lot of different things
Brianna. Yep.
that we just blindly take because they tell us that we should, you know. But you got to do your own research and find out, what it is that you can and cannot take. Diet is the best fix. Diet is the best fix either way. You're absolutely right. Like I said, it's what you put in your body. So yeah, ask questions. Get on their nerves, as she says.
Man, so as we get ready to wind down and wrap this up, my favorite question to ask
Uh-huh.
is what would you tell your younger self? In any capacity, what is some game, some advice, some words of encouragement, something you would tell your younger self?
Shut up and listen.
Shut up
I
and
would
listen.
I would tell my younger self to shut up and listen. It was a long time. It took me a long time to learn how to because I talk. I talk for a living. You know what I mean? So it took me a long time to realize you're
You
more
froze. You got to do it
effective.
again. You got to do that again. You froze.
What part? What?
The what would you tell your younger self? Because I want to make sure
Oh,
that this gets captured.
I would tell myself to shut up and listen. Um, it took me a long time because I talk for a living, so I'm always running my mouth, but I'm not listening. Even during interviews and things like that, you got to be able to listen so that you can hear, so that you can ask the right questions. You know what I mean? So it took me a long time to realize it's more important and more effective for you to listen than it is for you to talk. So I would tell my younger self to shut up, listen, um, and follow the path that people tried to lead for me.
Mm.
Um, a lot of people went down some of the same roads that I'm going down, and they told me, "Don't go left." But what I do, I went left anyway. You know what I mean? So, again, shut up and listen, and try to follow the roads that people tried to lead me down.
No, man, I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate you giving game to our people, our community.
Hmm.
Also, just thanking you for sharing your story. If there's anything else that you want to leave any and everybody else, please feel free to. Again, I put the link tree in the chat. I will make a post following this, and then
Hmm.
let's help Mike. Let's support Mike. Let's be somebody that he can count on and can lean on.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Even if it isn't monetary, and even if it's a prayer, I appreciate it. Um, I really do. I'm just grateful for this season of my life. I'm grateful for everything. Um, yeah, Happy holidays to you and yours. That's really it. Just thank you. Gratitude. Gratitude is all I have right now, and it's getting me through a lot. And God's grace, you know. So I'm just appreciative.
So again, appreciate you, and thank you for sharing. Stay on right afterwards. I'm gonna connect with you real quick, but
Okay.
I definitely appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. Hopefully, we can come together as a community and support Mike. But as the final episode of this 2024. 2025, we will be back doing the same thing and still talking community. So with that being said, y'all have a blessed holiday season and Happy New Year.
Absolutely.